When he's done, he pulls his hood over his head, slings his backpack over his shoulder, and stands in the hallway outside the dressing room, trying to type a message on his phone, which screen is only half active, to his boss at the coffee shop. Yum. Can I take a day off for today? I have an important exam tomorrow, so I have to prepare. I beg you, help me. It's barely 7 in the morning, so Jungkook doesn't expect you to answer him right now. But he is sure that the sooner he texts, the more in advance he has warned him. Jungkook was also confident that he would be able to prepare between the coffee shop and the club, but after looking again at all the materials he had to study, he realized that he had overestimated his own strength too much. It will most likely take him all day after he returns from college to prepare. And if by the evening he's not buried in his textbooks, then this will already be a success, Jungkook thinks. And the shift at the coffee machine does not exactly fit into today's schedule. Let's go. He suddenly appears in front of him out of nowhere, grabbing his arm and dragging him down the hallway. You're taking our boy away again, Danny and Jackson calls after them, and Jungkook turns around, smiling awkwardly at the guys. Blink 3 times if she's holding you hostage, Jungkook. The girl laughs, turning around and showing them the middle, and, noticing the angry look of the guys, she and Jungkook only squeeze each other's hands tighter and start running towards the exit, laughing out loud. Only when they are outside, on a cold autumn morning, they take a deep breath of frosty air and calm down. Where do you get so much energy from? Jungkook smiles tiredly, trying to catch his breath and looking at her, and they slowly begin to move towards the subway side. A bit of coke, she shrugs, getting a surprised look from Jungkook. Don't look at me like that, she laughs, pushing him on the shoulder. Just get it from one of today's clients. You know you shouldn't sniff with strangers, right? Jungkook raises his eyebrows and puts his hands in his jacket pockets. Especially when they're your clients. You can get into trouble. The girl smiles. You've known me for too long, Jungkook, to still have doubts. I just don't want them to get from you more than what they paid for. I'm just, taking care of you and shit, he mutters, sighing. I know, babe, she laughs, wrapping her arm around his neck again as they start to make their way down to the station. It's just, I'm in control, okay? If it weren't for the stuff, I would have stopped coping with all this a long time ago. Jungkook looks around to make sure no one has heard them, because there are already enough people on the subway at this time. But no one cares about them. Can't you get by without it? He asks a little quieter, leaning towards her. You could only dance just like me, and work 2 more jobs just to survive, just like you? Take it easy, Jungkook, she shakes her head. I don't do anything I wouldn't agree to. Don't think about it. Everything's okay. How can you be okay with selling your own body? He mutters too quietly, afraid of extra years, and the girl looks at him like he is an inexperienced stupid kid asking if the sun is hot. Babe, she pats his cheek, chuckling. Not all of us are so saintly, okay, but you don't enjoy it. Isn't that the main purpose of having it? Is, she shrugs as they stop at the edge of the platform. And sometimes I do. It's just, over time, comes not just a way to have fun, but an item too. A very expensive item, babe, she smiles conspiratorially. Think about it again sometime. You always saying that would help you. I can manage without it. Yes, but just imagine, she spreads her hands theatrically, shouting over the train approaching them. You could cope much easier. And you would also sleep more than 3 or 4 hours. He shakes his head in denial, sighing again as the car comes. They enter the apartment with a few bags in their hands and a laugh at a stupid joke as they quietly close the door behind them. So, I can cook something decent for dinner as soon as I get some sleep, the girl offers as they walk towards the kitchen. You'll be back in the afternoon, right? Well, I hope so, at least. Jungkook laughs ruefully just as they enter the kitchen. Look, she puts the pan on the stove and turns to him. Why don't you take a shower for now, and I'll cook us some eggs and beans? Just to make sure you don't be late for your class. Seriously as ever. Jungkook smiles, bouncing on the spot. You're the best, me. I promise I'll be quick, she laughs, pulling a carton of eggs from the fridge as Jungkook is already out of the kitchen, and leans over to yell after him. Don't stick it too deep, oh. Back off, he yells with a laugh, before disappearing out the door. Jungkook gets up from his seat, slung his backpack over his shoulder, and wearily trudges down the stairs, rubbing tired eyes that are already too much in need of sleep. Even a light nap on the subway and 2 cans of energy drinks didn't help him. Mr. Jian. The professor calls out to him as Jungkook, one of the last, is almost out the door of the auditorium. Yes, the guy turns around to look at the woman. Come, please, she points to an empty place by the podium. And Jungkook, inhaling deeply, tries to ignore his terrible headache and steps back, shuffling his feet on the floor. He stops in front of the teacher's desk and watches as she gathers up her papers and turns off her laptop and projector. Jungkook, the woman sighs wearily, looking up at him. I respect students who work and support themselves. You know that, she begins, and Jungkook feels his stomach tighten. But, you need to understand, if work is going to affect your grades, I can no longer turn a blind eye to no-shows. I already did fulfill your needs when you explained to me in what situation you are. But, listen, Jungkook, I can't give you a high score for nothing even if I want to, Professor Duquette. I got it. Jungkook nods obediently. And I promise, I'm trying my best. I always study whenever I find the time. I know how important it is for you to get an education, Mr. Jian. And, she looks back at the auditorium door, and speaks a little more quietly. If in our French class I can still help you on the final exam, then financial management, we will have some guests on the test on Friday. She speaks quietly, and Jungkook knows perfectly well that she has no right to share such information with him. I know this is only a mid-semester test and it's not as important as the final one, but, if you pass your positions, your good grades may be questioned on the final exam. And I'm more than sure that they will be good, just don't want to put you under the fire. I really appreciate it, Professor. I promise. And I won't let you down. I've been preparing for the last few days and I'm going to start preparing today as soon as I get home and up to tomorrow's test. I'm sure you will. The woman nods at him. I just really want to help you, Jungkook. She gives him a meaningful look and Jungkook nods, pursing his lips. And, promise me to improve your French. I won't be able to help you the way I did last year. Jungkook nods again. In fact, for Professor Marie-Ange Duquette, knowing French is almost more important than knowing financial management. He knows it. Even if financial management is one of Jungkook's majors this semester. But she's amazing, just amazing, dark-skinned French woman in her early 30s, and she's overprotective of her native language, which she teaches. And she did too much for Jungkook last year for him to disappoint her now. I'll prep, Professor Duquette, Jungkook repeats again, nodding nervously to confirm his own words. I swear I'll get a high score. No one will think that you overestimated my grades. I really hope that you and I heard each other, Jungkook. She looks at him understandingly and smiles with the corners of her lips. Good luck, okay? I know how you feel now, but you're a good guy. And I wouldn't want you to go off the rails. Thank you. Goodbye, Professor. See you tomorrow, Mr. Jian. Jungkook leaves the campus with an unpleasant, sticky feeling inside. He thinks about how he will come home and sit down with his textbooks to memorize everything that is generally possible to memorize for tomorrow's test. And he'll be damned if he cannot handle it. Jungkook. Someone knocks on the door, and Jungkook twitches, realizing he's dozed off sitting on the bed surrounded by textbooks and notes. Yes, he yawns, and Me peeks into the room. Fully ready to go. Damn, no. Are you still not dressed? She raises her eyebrows at Jungkook, who is buried in books and wearing only stretched old pajamas, looking like a total mess. Jungkook, I don't stop. The boy makes an excuse and rubs his face with his hands to cheer himself up a little. I'm sorry, I just need a little time. I'll quickly get dressed, and we'll go, right? Are we making it? What time is it? Hey, Jungkook. She quickly walks into the room, grabbing Jungkook by the shoulders as he starts to thrash around the bed, and tries to hold the boy in place. Hey, calm down, look at me. She snaps her fingers in front of his face. Okay, you see me, right? Breathe in and breathe out, Jungkook. The girl lets out a chuckle. You better get some rest. She glances at several empty energy drink cans lying by the bed. Just get some sleep, okay? Get some sleep. Or you won't make it till tomorrow's test, because your heart will just stop right now. I can't. Jungkook shakes his head wearily. I've been studying all this time. Yeah, I've heard, and I can't go to sleep now, okay? We have to go to work. And then I have an exam. I have no time to sleep. You do. Or do you think it's better if you fall off your feet in the middle of a dance, fall off the stage and break your neck? You're being dramatic. Oh, babe, I'm not even being dramatic yet. This is one of the most likely scenarios. So just go to sleep, okay? Give your brain and your body some rest, Jungkook. It's okay. You need it. I can't. I can't. And what about the work? Andy will fire me, Andy, she says with a shrug. I'll tell him you're sick. And if that is, you were supposed to go to work anyway, I swear I'll plant drugs on him and set the cops off. Me. Jungkook shakes his head, yawning again. Can we get through this without your problem-solving methods? I'll tell him you're sick, she repeats with a little more confidence. And you'll have a rest. And tomorrow we will celebrate your successfully passed exam. Agreed. Tomorrow is Friday. Jungkook shakes his head. There will be way more guests than on weekdays. I know, but does it bother us? She smirks at the boy. Get some rest. Promise that I will leave now, and you will go back to sleep. You've been here with your textbooks for 8 hours, and I'm sure if there was anything you didn't know, it's already changed. She laughs softly and then carefully straightens his hair. Now go to sleep, okay? Jungkook gives in, moving to close his textbooks and notes in confirmation. I'm going to sleep. Could you wake me up when you get home? I'm afraid I might not hear my alarm if I'm fast asleep. Of course. Me gets to her feet, slinging a bag over her shoulder, and watches as Jungkook puts all of his study materials on the floor in one pile. I'm turning off the lights for you, she winks, standing in the doorway, reaching for the light switch. Set an alarm. And good night. Me Jungkook calls out to her as he crawls under the covers and the girl looks up at him. Thank you. Always here for you, babe. The blonde gives him another smile before turning off the light in the room, and then shutting the door behind her. Sleep. Jungkook just needs some sleep. Tomorrow it will be better.